Futurama Issue 6. It's predictable that when the robot mafioso says someone will get the clamps, it's not a threat and he's just trying to find an Xmas gift for his employee. It's confusingly nice of Dawnbot to want to give his employees gifts. They go to someone in the shadows to bring him a list. I'm guessing it's that Satan bot. Supposedly, they're gonna get immunity from Santa's naughty list. I guess they only believe him about this because they're desperate to. Because if he's that evil, then he'd consider them to be naughty too, and go after them eventually, of course, even if they'd be last. They're gonna give him the names and markers of any robots that owe them money. We see that Bender is one of those names, predictably, to make us care. And Bender gets handed a script for a play that the crew's gonna perform for the old folks' home as part of the community service Farnsworth has to perform for public indecency and driving while incontinent. The former of which was probably from the car wash issue. I like that he was given community service as a punishment so that he'll end up helping people instead of just having to pay a fine or go to jail. The future would feel more genuinely advanced if he did that more often. Bender apologizes and says he's got his own community service to finish. He's given a threat to try to motivate him to agree to the play. Hermes then gets a call for Bender, which is an obviously too good to be true trap to lure him to a place with an easy question. Leela thinks it sounds fishy because the address is in Hell's Kitchen, rather than because of how easy it was for him. After a panel where I feel bad for Leela for the scene she'll have to do in the play, which Farnsworth probably wrote out of sadism, Bender and Fry find a robot, and it turns out that in the future, there's a literal Salvation Army that gives weapons to the defenseless to protect themselves from Robot Santa. Too bad nobody can just hack into him to make him good. I guess it's impossible because he knows better than to connect himself to the internet. Bender's actually nice enough to donate some weapons, and Fry says he'll go find an Xmas tree for the play. Bender was so desperate to believe he'll actually get infinite beer that he went to an obvious trap of the robot devil. He's told that he's in his holiday home, and he actually wants to get money for the Mafia from him. But I'd expect him to not follow through with a deal with the Mafia because he doesn't really have to, and he's the robot devil. But I don't see why he would win a fight with all of them because it's just one guy. The robot devil says he'll give him a one-time only opportunity to make things square. So he is gonna back up getting them the money. Unless Bender getting everyone he knows to be in Times Square tomorrow night is gonna get the money. Bender gets lied to that Santa's been reprogrammed to judge everyone as nice. I'm guessing it's a lie anyways because we didn't see it happen. It would have changed the status quo, God forbid. And if that was possible, it would have happened a lot earlier. Bender's also offered a bribe, and wisely told to keep what he's doing a secret. Fry disappoints his crew with an Xmas tree that clearly sucks, and explains that at least with this tree you won't have to worry about rabid squirrels jumping out of it. I guess Farnsworth was too lazy to have palm tree DNA to instantly grow to get an Xmas tree. Or maybe he can't do that. Bender shows up and says he can't play the monolith for their play because he's got another job. And he comes up with a plausible lie on the spot to explain himself. And he says there's gonna be a party at Times Square and Santa's not evil anymore, which even Morbo says, because of Nixon's lies. And he thinks he can get away with anything because he says he's always looking for a way to start a new world war. Leela's still suspicious, but that won't matter if she goes anyways. Then we see Tinny Tim thank someone for a gift at a bar. Bender should know better than to tell people he's working for the robot devil. He gets jealous of someone for getting an acting role he always wanted, and he's told he could totally get a role from the robot devil. Why does he have faith in him? Isn't it obvious that the only way to get something from him is to do a contract with a price, like sell away his soul? So Bender thanks him for the tip. Bender finds out he's at the wrong place at the wrong time, but goes ahead anyways because you only live once. So he shows up just in time to hear the robot devil bragging that Robot Santa hasn't changed to Nixon. So why is Nixon doing this? What does he have to gain? And Bender tries to record him explaining his plan. Robot Devil just wants more robots trapped in his territory. So what does he have to gain? Is he going to get money from it? I guess he's just sadistic, so he wants to torture as many as possible. They discover the smoke from Bender's cigar, and he leaves it behind as he runs away. Zoidberg says that Christmas became Xmas after the events his play was based off of, and Bender tells the crew everything, and they decide to tell Morbo to get the news out. Bender wastes time saying he's Bender on the news instead of just playing his videotape to prove what happened right away. So he's lucky Morbo humors them with no evidence. But without showing them the video right away, Nixon has the time to come here and lie to him to trick the crew into going into the limo with Robot Santa. So they get knocked out easily and kidnapped by Robot Devil, who wants to torture them to find out where the other copies of the videotape are, but he has no reason to stop. And it's not that easy to knock someone out without long-term consequences to them. Bender didn't make any copies, and Leela urges him to let him think there are because they're a bargaining chip to keep them alive. The reason Nixon planned this out was so that once Robot Santa would start slaying the predictable trap for him, he could call on the army to take him down and look like a hero because he needs to be reelected. But why is he planning on pardoning Robot Santa for him to fill his naughty quota next Christmas? Why would Robot Santa care whether he pardons him or not? Why did he tell Robot Santa about this plan and have him right there? He would have gone to Times Square anyways. He could have actually taken him out. Wouldn't he want to do that for his own safety from him? Two robots argue because both of them were promised the job of vice president. But why would he want a new job when he's programmed to want to do what he does and nothing but? I guess he's bored of having nothing to do on every day that isn't Xmas. So Robot Santa fires a missile that gets dodged and frees Leela and Fry. It sure was convenient for them that Nixon included Robot Santa in his plan for no reason, because they wouldn't have gotten free otherwise. You'd think he would hate him just as much as everyone else does, not trust him enough to have a deal with him. Leela throws a trident to save Bender when he's about to get shredded, and for no reason. Well, at first Leela wants to call the police and expose Nixon, then she decides to force them to have a role in their play instead. But they have every reason to call the police on him after that. Bender reveals that he couldn't get his camera to perform, so he just bluffed the Robot Devil. And this explains why he didn't play the tape on Morbo's news right away. Because he couldn't, and he was just stalling. And then the story ends with Farnsworth deciding to do some streaking when that just gave him even more community service. Which I have to assume is because he gets sadistic joy out of forcing his crew members to put on a play, and wants to have to do that again, and just assumes that'll be what he'll have to do next. And he literally doesn't care what he does. This issue is about Bender getting lured to the Robot Devil and tricked into luring people into a trap for the Robot Santa. And when he finds out that he wasn't reprogrammed after all, because he went there when the Robot Devil was bragging about his plan to try to get an acting role out of him, he makes him think he recorded his plan, and gets kidnapped along with his friends for trying to expose it on the news. And then because Nixon involved Robot Santa in his plan for no reason at all, when clearly would have gone to Times Square without being told to, and might have been taken out by the army for all we know, he fights with the Robot Devil and frees Leela, who saves Bender. Ultimately, Leela saved Bender because she just got lucky with an accurate throw, but she at least explains why she knows how to throw so well. I guess Nixon thinks that his army can't actually take out Robot Santa, because armies must have been trying to fight him for a really long time. And so he has to tell him to pretend he got taken out but to look like a hero. Because he thinks he needs to get re-elected by popular vote. I guess they don't have the Electoral College anymore in the future, guaranteeing that he'll get voted in no matter what. It's such a flimsy excuse for him to do this plan, because you'd think if he was so evil, he'd just use the technology of the future to steal the election, long before making a deal with Robot Santa.